Before I start this video, I would like to address the issue of the 2018 Fall Anime Season recap. There seem to be a handful of people who think it does not exist. I can assure you, it does. The thumbnail should be an autistic-looking Mai Sakurajima, so you can look for that within my discography of videos to watch it. Greetings, my friends, and welcome to ASMR Reviews. I'm your host, Bondage Gal 10, and let's jump right into it, shall we?
Yeah, I came in with a saw. Ooh, yeah, I came in with a saw. Yeah, bitch, I flare real.
Say I Love You is a 13-episode romance anime about a reclusive girl named Mei and a popular boy named Yamato who fall in love with each other. But the truth is that they're both new to love. Join me as we follow them on their wacky romance adventure. Alright, bullshit aside, this show is fairly unique for a genre. And I say that because most high school romances are painted with this sweet, innocent gloss. They make all of the characters so pure and just fucking balls of innocence. And the style is enjoyable the first time around, but the more you see it, the more saturated and overdone it feels. In this sense, such a style has become cliche. What makes Say I Love You unique is that this show completely strips that glossy filter and shows you the dark, painful world we all know and love. In that respect, it's one of the most realistic romances I've ever watched. Unfortunately, in other respects, it's painfully unrealistic. To the point of cringe. What I'm about to say happened in the first episode. Please bear that in mind. Yamato saves Mei from a stalker, alright, by kissing her. Pretty much the first time they've ever interacted. What makes this so retarded is that the situation would have been alleviated all the same if he just said that he was her boyfriend. I honestly couldn't tell you why the author thought this was the best way to start their story, but Jesus Christ, it's really fucking stupid. After seeing that scene, I watched the rest of the episode pondering who and in what universe did someone think that was a good idea. But rest assured, friends, I promise that it only gets better from here. Well, at least until the last episode, but I'll discuss that later. First, as ritual of the Flannelkid YouTube channel, I'll of course discuss the art and animation. The animation for the most part is spotless, except for the mouth movements, which on occasion, look awkward and out of sync. Now the art is interesting. Not because it's amazing or terrible, but because this is the first time I've ever had mixed feelings on an art style. The backgrounds are beautiful and are typically painted with colors that aren't too bright and vibrant, but aren't too bleak either. And I love this because it adds to this feeling of loneliness and anxiety without looking depressing or setting a singular mood for the show. It kind of molds itself to match whatever the scene requires it to be, without actually changing. I also love the way the animals are drawn, specifically the cats. I like the way the hair is drawn, and I like the blush effect as well. Not too much, but enough to make those blush moments pull on your heartstrings. But there are also some things that I don't like about this art style. First are the eyes. They are way too fucking big. Like, I don't mind the stereotypical big anime eyes, and sometimes I prefer them, but quite frankly, this just crosses the line and is against God. I also don't like the lips. They are drawn to make them pop with a sort of bezel effect, but to me, it just looks off. And honestly, these are my only issues with the art style, but when half of the show is spent on the lips and eyes, it can be quite a bother. Next is the characters. I personally think that the characters are the most redeeming quality of this show. First episode aside, these characters and the things they do feel real. Contrary to these picture-perfect humans in other romances, these characters are irrational, they get easily frustrated, and they do fucked up things because they are too focused on their own problems to realize that what they are doing is fucked up. But more than that, these characters grow. Not just Mei, not just Yamato, all of the main cast grow as characters. They learn from their fuck-ups and use them to better themselves. Even the antagonists have this change in heart, and even the protagonists need to have this change in heart. The characters are one of the things that ground the show, because there aren't a group of nice guys and fucked up guys. Everyone is fucked up, but some are more or less fucked than others. Everyone has had their fair share of painful experiences, and everyone has their vices because of them. But best of all, the characters don't have this one emotion or trait that defines them like you see in so many shows. Each character fluctuates their emotions and mood on a daily basis as a normal person would. The only character whose emotions are relatively static are Mei's, and that's how it's supposed to be. The show is about Mei coming out of her shell to share her thoughts and emotions with the people around her like she neglected doing for so long. Honestly, the characters are very well written, and massive props to the author for that. Next up is the plot. Plot's pretty good. I'm going to say there are 3 major arcs and one overhanging plot within all 3, that obviously being Mei and Yamato's romance. My problem here is that the first and second arc are very similar in a lot of ways. They both involve girls who are jealous that Yamato chose Mei over them, and they try to break up their relationship. The only differences are the way the two go about doing it and the resolution of their arcs. The third arc, however, is about the girl responsible for the second arc, Megutan, and how she ends up in this depressed state when people start to hate her, even when she tries so hard to get everybody to like her. And this goes back to the idea that these characters aren't one-dimensional, and that they fuck up, and they get sad, and then eventually they try to better themselves. Another thing I didn't like very much was the saturation of kissing between Mei and Yamato. I mean, not only did they kiss in the first episode, they kiss like 20 times over the whole show. What makes a kissing scene so special in these high school romances is that they seldom happen. So when you have 1 or more kissing scenes in every episode, even that one special kissing scene in episode 12 lacks oomph. Take example from Toradora, which I personally think has the best kissing scene of all time. You've sat and watched these two characters slowly fall in love with each other over 23 episodes, and then finally, on that last episode, they kiss. And it's like,
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
and you just don't get that same type of feeling in Say I Love You. But speaking of episode 12, I would like to talk about the ending. In my opinion, the show could have ended on episode 12, but instead we got fucking episode 13, which is just an absolute train wreck. Some of the scenes made me think I was watching a porno.
Me.
You're trying to tell me that she didn't hear someone running past her, and that if she did, she didn't turn to check who it was for even half a second? Bullshit. I mean, this whole episode can be wrapped up in one word: obnoxious. Watching Mei run around like a retard for 20 minutes is not only boring, but it pisses me off. Some of the shit Mei thinks and does, you'd think she would have gotten over already considering how far we are into the show. But what's even worse is that if Mei just said I love you at the end of episode 12 and then episode 13 ceased to exist, then the show's ending would have been light years better. Overall, I'm going to give the show a 7 out of 10 because I left out all of the smaller things in this video that would make the show an enjoyable watch. Cute moments, spicy moments, awkward but good moments, Yamato's sister moments, Mei's mom moments, etc. But I can't give the show higher than a 7 because all of the glaring problems that stare you in the face. That being said, this is the end of the video. So, you know, you can head on, you can get on out of here. Drop a like, won't you? Let's get, can we get like 8 likes, guys? That'd be sick. Toodles.
That's hot.